Hi everybody, thank you for coming today. On behalf of NYSCOPBA, we just really like to thank everybody for coming to support Ogdensburg Correctional Facility and all the correctional staff that work inside the prison. With me today is President Mike Powers from NYSCOPBA, Senator Ritchie, and also Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, as well as many other local elected officials, as well as other agencies. I'd like to start off with introducing President Mike Powers.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. Obviously, this is a very difficult time for many of our members in NYSCOPBA that operate in Ogdensburg Correctional Facility and 5 other correctional facilities across the state of New York, as the state legislature and the governor's office hastily called upon 6 facility closures. Once again, during the holiday season, uprooting many families. And I'd like to acknowledge many of the members that have been affected by that today that are on the move to their new facilities during this holiday season. Obviously, we're here to we're here as the Congresswoman has fully supported us in these endeavors and our correctional facilities, along with our state and elected officials. I'd like to acknowledge some local elected officials. Sheriff Big Wharf, Deputy Sheriff, Under Sheriff O'Brien is with us today. County Legislator Chair Bill Sheridan is here with us today, along with county legislators and many other elected officials, not only in the federal level, state level, but also on the city level. Myself, of course, being one of them. But all that aside, I'm grateful for many of the communities across the state of New York that have come together in these times of facility closures that have no input from the stakeholders. We're seeing significant rises in violence in our facilities across the state of New York, and it's become a very tumultuous time for our members, and more importantly, to add insult to injury, to have these closures come upon us at this time is just disingenuous in nature. And with that aside, recognizing the many people here that are supporting us, and we're grateful for the support, I'd like to now bring up Senator Ritchie.
I'd like to start off by thanking Congresswoman Stefanik for coming today. I'm certainly proud to stand with her to support our hardworking security and civilian staff at OCF. It wasn't too long ago that I, along with many of you, saw Governor Hochul right before she was sworn in stand up and say, "I'm going to fight like hell for New Yorkers." Well, let me tell you, the Canadian border might be right behind us, but guess what, Governor Hochul? We're New Yorkers too, and ripping 300 jobs and families away from their loved ones, especially right before Christmas, is not fighting like hell for New Yorkers. It's the wrong thing to do. You know, the state always justifies whatever, they want to do. They come out with this list of criteria of why OCF should be closed. Well, I find it very interesting when not only did the state just invest $10 million in a new roof, they actually had lower numbers of individuals incarcerated because they redid the dorms. So they were moving those that were incarcerated around, which actually made the numbers look lower so they could justify why OCF should be on the closure list. They come out and say, oh, we're going to reuse the property. There isn't a single person here today or within 50 miles of Ogdensburg that doesn't know what they did at the psychiatric center, that the buildings up there are falling down. It's been over 20 years, so there's no way they are going to reuse the St. Lawrence Psychiatric Center buildings for anything else. They come back out and they say that, her latest is about COVID and protecting the public. Now listen, I believe we should all do our best for COVID. And I will say, personally, I've had my 2 shots. I'm getting my booster on Monday. I wear my mask when I'm out. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say we have to do our best for COVID and then turn around and shut not only OCF, but 500 other facilities down and put so many people in the same spot. So either we're going to do our best to protect the public from COVID, or we're not. You can't have it both ways. So for the people who actually work at OCF, I want to thank you for the unbelievable job that you've done. I received so many letters from individuals who are incarcerated there, pleading with me, pleading with the governor to keep the facility open because they feel safe there. They don't want to leave. They're actually learning skills that they can use after they are released. That's what we should be doing. That's what the state should be doing, is trying to help make these individuals successful when they get out. So, you know, the governor once again says, okay, I'm gonna be a different kind of governor. I'm gonna listen to the people on the ground. Well, Governor, once again, we had a plan. We had a plan that helps the people who work there, who also helps people who are incarcerated, having the best chance possible when they get out. So, Governor, I'm asking you, keep your two promises. Fight like hell for New Yorkers and listen to the people on the ground level. The least you can do would be to get in your car and travel up here and tour the facility and talk to the people that you're affecting. So that's my challenge to you. You know, you want to lay it out there that these are important to you, that it's important to us, and we challenge you after we've wrote letter after letter to come up here and talk face to face with the people that you're affecting. Thank you.
I'd be remiss to not to acknowledge many of the members at Ogdensburg Correctional and the 5 other facilities across the state that are pushing hard to save their communities and their facilities and their employment, and not only that, but the uprooting of their families and the difficulties that come with it. And our next guest, I'd like to acknowledge as being a friend of NYSCOPBA ever since she's been in office, and it's my pleasure to introduce Congresswoman Elise Stefanik.
Thank you, everyone. I want to first start off by thanking our hardworking corrections officers. They put their lives and their health on the line every single day, and they did so during the pandemic. During the worst and the height of COVID, our corrections officers put their health on the line, and this is what New York State has. This is not a thank you. This is a slap in the face to this community and to those hardworking individuals. So please, on behalf of Ogdensburg and the North Country, let's give them a big round of applause for all that they have done. This is a disgrace that the governor of New York State would make this announcement right before the holidays. This is after just a year ago they made the announcement in New York State to close Watertown, and many of those hardworking families had to travel a long distance because they were transferred to OCF. This is unacceptable. This is part of the governor's mansion's attack on the North Country. It's not just Ogdensburg in my district, it's Mariah Shock. Earlier this year, I had an event with some of our corrections officers, union officials at Clinton Correction Annex, people that lost their jobs there. It is unacceptable and is part of Albany's war on law enforcement. These are the same leaders who embrace defunding the police. These are the same leaders who want to attack law enforcement at every level, whether it's our corrections officers, whether it's our sheriffs, whether it's our NYPD. And it is unacceptable to these hardworking families who are heroes in blue. They really are. They put their lives, their health, and these are tough jobs every single day. In the meantime, at this same time, we see crime rates skyrocketing in New York State. We see crime rates against our corrections officers in the facilities skyrocket. That is unacceptable. We deserve so much better from Governor Hochul. She does not have the guts to come up here to the North Country and to look this community in the face. So I am publicly calling on her to come up as soon as possible before this year is over and hear from your constituents, New Yorkers, who have worked so hard on behalf of New York State and on behalf of their communities. I will always stand by our law enforcement. I stand shoulder to shoulder, not only with the corrections officers, but with the state elected officials, especially our state senator, Patty Ritchie, who has been a leading voice standing up for her communities. She has been tireless in these efforts, and we are going to continue to be with her every step of the way. It is the holiday season. This is a tough time economically. Inflation is continuing to rise. We have a supply chain crisis, and these hardworking families are going to have to travel so much further. This uncertainty that they are facing in the middle of the school year for their kids, it is absolutely unacceptable. We will do everything we can to speak out and make sure that the governor can listen. But again, I am publicly here to call on Governor Hochul to show her face in the North Country. She doesn't have the guts to do so, and instead is eliminating hundreds of jobs, over 1,000 in just the past year, with the stroke of a pen. And will always stand up for this community. So thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'll start with Channel 7. Go ahead. Well, this is a state facility. What I have done, there are federal facilities that I've stood up for in the district, for example, making sure that they get COVID pay when they have been out if there were positive COVID cases. We are making sure that we have fully funding for our law enforcement. That's important across the board, and really holding people accountable for their defunding the police efforts that I hear every single day from my colleagues across the aisle. North Country Now, go ahead. Or, sir. Go ahead. Ooh, sorry. You're good. No questions, ma'am? Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
Again, everybody, thank you for coming today. Obviously, keep in mind many of the other affected facilities across the state of New York that are dealing with this as well. You know, it's a very difficult time right now. As the Congresswoman and Senator had mentioned, you know, many times we've been on the record asking for separation, more separation within the correctional facilities due to the COVID pandemic. We've asked for violence studies as far as the violence in the facilities. We have exceeded 100% in the past 7 years the amount of assaults on staff and the inmate-on-inmate assaults and the amount of contraband coming into our facilities. We strongly advocate for a secure vendor package program to prevent that, and we know that with our elected officials behind us, that eventually we'll get that done. And more importantly is getting the funding for us to be able to do it. Again, I'd like to acknowledge the elected officials who came today. I want to acknowledge the staff at Ogdensburg Correctional, the staff at Mariah Correctional, Downstate Correctional, Southport Correctional, Willard Correctional, Rochester Correctional Facility as well. They're all out there pushing for their facilities and their communities, and we applaud them as well. We've traveled quite long distances across this state. The men in gray behind me in the same coat. I would like to acknowledge again Sheriff Big Wharf, Under Sheriff O'Brien, County Chair Mr. Sheridan, Councilman John Ritchie is somewhere in the audience. I saw him earlier. Councilor Scamperly and Kennedy, and many of the members that are working behind the scenes that many of you might not know about, that are working to help preserve this facility and other facilities across the state of New York. And with that being said, I want to applaud each and every one of you for coming here and supporting us in this endeavor. Thank you very much.